This is the revision mind map for the Greeks versus the Persians course, better known come the exam as the Greeks defend themselves. Starting off, it's a bit of background on ancient Persia. It's in modern day Iran. It's the heartland of the Persian Empire. How was it run? Pause the video now. Go to the second Persian Empire video and make some notes on how this empire was run. Okay, we're back. This empire took over from an earlier empire run by the Medes in about 600 BC, and the Medes had conquered the Assyrians before that. The empire was founded by Cyrus the Great. He's the one who led the Persian people from relative obscurity to running this huge empire. He did this in the 550s BC and later on. He finally died on campaign in 530 BC. During his life, most importantly, he conquered Lydia. Lydia is in modern day Western Turkey. And Lydia also previously conquered Ionia, and Greeks lived there, which is how this big conflict sort of starts. Upon the death of Cyrus, his son Cambyses becomes the great king, continues his work, conquers Egypt before dying himself mysteriously in 522 BC. There's a civil war, and Darius, a distant nephew of Cyrus, becomes king after some various shenanigans and various strange lies about wizards and blah blah blah. Last thing, pause the video again in a moment and make some notes on how the Persians fight. Persian Empire 3 is the video. Watch it, figure out how the Persians fight. Then, ancient Greece. Greece doesn't exist. It's divided, at the time we're talking about, into hundreds of city-states known as polises. Make some notes on that. Greece is very, very mountainous. Not much flat land. There's virtually no plains. It's all mountains and valleys, and in each valley is a little polis. Unity. There is at this point almost no Greek unity, certainly not politically. They share a language, they share a religion, they share certain customs, and they feel Greek. They feel like they're part of Hellas, which is all where the Greeks live. There's no actual Greek country. And finally, pause the video again, look up hoplite warfare, and just remind yourself, make some notes on how the Greeks fight. Okay? Let's have a quick look at the two major city-states. Look at the video on Athens, look at the video on Sparta, and make some notes about these two great city-states. Especially for Sparta, make a note of their strange system of government. And for Athens, make some notes about the establishment of democracy in 510 BC under Cleisthenes. Make sure you understand the role of Hippias in this, because he comes back to the story later on. So watch the videos, make the notes. Which leads us to the Ionian Revolt, 499 BC, the event that Herodotus says gives rise to the whole war. Remember, Ionia is in what we would today call the western coast of Turkey. But all the cities along that coast, they're full of Greeks, Ionians. They've been conquered by Lydia. Lydia is conquered by the Persians, so the Ionians are now part of the Persian Empire. For about 50 years, nothing seems to go very wrong with this arrangement. Until 499 BC. In the city of Miletus, there's a Greek who works for the Persians, a tyrant called Aristagoras. He decides, in order to improve his career, he's going to conquer the island of Naxos for the Persians. So he teams up with a local satrap in Sardis, and they launch an attack on Naxos. It goes very, very badly. Aristagoras knows he's for the job. So all of a sudden, he decides he's a democrat. Miletus becomes a democratic state. He raises a revolt all along the Ionian coast and further, and this huge war has started. Importantly, Aristagoras goes to Greece to ask for help. You remember that? It goes to Greece to ask for help. He goes to Sparta and he's told to get lost. He goes to Athens and he's told, yeah, we'll help. Athens sends 20 ships, Eritrea sends 5 ships. They join the Ionians, they join the forces of Astyages, and they attack the capital city of Ionia, of that satrapy, Sardis, in 499, and burn it down. After that, the Athenians lose interest in all this, they go home. The revolt goes on for about 5 years before it's finally crushed in the Battle of Lade in 494 BC. So the revolt's over, Persians have won, but Darius wants revenge on Athens and Eritrea, Athens in particular. According to Herodotus, there's that famous incident where a famous occurrence that Darius has a slave whisper to him every day before dinner, "Master, sire, remember the Athenians." Which leads us to the first Persian invasion of Greece, which culminates in the famous Battle of Marathon in 490 BC. So in 491, Darius sends messengers to all the Greek cities asking for their surrender, earth and water. Some surrender, some don't. The Athenians and the Spartans murder messengers, which is a sign of it's a great sacrilege in the ancient world. And if you remember, there's a famous quote about what the Spartans do to the Persian messengers, not said by Leonardo, said by the Cleomenes. So the Persians launch an attack. Pause the video, find out how big is the Persian expedition, how many ships, how many soldiers, what sort of soldiers. And what's unusual about this expedition is it doesn't come via land, it comes via sea, it's amphibious. They island hop from Ionia to Greece. They first take Eritrea. After taking that, they land in the Bay of Marathon. Why Marathon? It's got a good beach, they can disembark their troops very easily, and then they're not close enough to Athens to be attacked straight away. So they choose Marathon. It's about 20 odd miles away from Athens. At this point, this is where we talk about Miltiades. He's an Athenian general, very influential, but not by no means the leader. But his influence is he's a former tyrant. He's worked for the Persians. He knows the Persian way of war, so he's very important in this story. The Athenians then send for help from Sparta. The Spartans say, yeah, Philippi's famous run. But Spartans say, yeah, we'll come and help after the holidays. So they're late. So Miltiades convinces the Athenians they can't wait behind their walls. They've got to head out and face the Persians at Marathon. So they head out. A few days of standoff. Then, if you remember, we'll watch the video on this for more details. Then the Persians look like they're embarking on their ships. So the Greeks attack. There's a huge battle with double envelopment. Persians retreat to their ships and are chased there by the Athenians, and a battle takes place with the ships. You will need to watch the video on this to know more details, because that battle might well come up in the exam.